Hello everybody. Welcome to the Stream Key podcast. We're finally here. Had some technical difficulties as always on this show to start with, but we're here finally with the dream team for the special TwitchCon episode today. Starting off with Anatlus as probably the most rare person here today, if I can say that. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello. I'm very good.
Awesome. Happy to have you back on. And DanTheDapper joining us again as a guest. How you doing today,
Hello.
Dan?
Hi, I'm okay. I'm living.
Hanging in there.
Yeah. Fridays are long days. Good days, but long days.
It's Friday, man. Weekend's almost here. Just hang in there.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
And Veli, how you doing, dude? How's your week been?
It's been awesome, man. Been great.
Sweet.
Streaming it up.
Love it. All right. Well, if you guys haven't seen
agreeable today.
If you guys haven't seen this show before, the way it works is this is the call-in show. Of course, we had some difficulties, so we're using Discord video today, which means we can't actually have callers, unfortunately. But you're free as always to ask questions via the chat or Discord chat. Just tag us in something and read your question, and we'll talk about it on the show. And this week in particular is a TwitchCon episode because a week from today is TwitchCon 2018. All four of us here have been to TwitchCon before, and we're going to talk to you guys about like everything you need to know to get the most out of TwitchCon, things that we're looking forward to, and just any other advice we have for you, answering any questions you guys have. If you have questions besides TwitchCon, you can still ask them, and we'll cover that, but the majority of the show will be focused on TwitchCon stuff. But to kick off things, I always like to go around and see how everybody's stream week was. So let's kick it off to Anna first, actually. How was your past week of streaming? Anything cool happen? What's been going on?
I've been doing scary games. I've been focusing on Evil Within, which I really enjoyed. And then I played the second Evil Within, so Evil Within 2. And honestly, I didn't like it as much, but it was fun to stream. The story was good. But overall, I've just been working with Stream Loots as well. That's my other work-at-home job. And yeah, keeping really busy getting ready for TwitchCon. So nice.
Yeah, I'm going to the Twitch or the Stream Loots meeting on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Yep.
Yeah, excited for that too.
There.
Sweet. Okay, so Dan, how's your past week of stream been, man? What's been going on with your life?
I honestly don't even remember the last week of streaming. I don't remember the games I've been playing. I know Mario Party was in there. Yesterday I did a Just Dance stream to pay it forward to my community who's been ever so awesome. And I think some Forza was in there. I think. I'm apparently like stream blackout. I don't remember half of it, but it was good. It was good. It's always good when you get to stream, so I can't complain for sure.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I saw some of the stream with the panda yesterday. That was classic right there.
Oh yeah, it's become a novelty.
Awesome. And last but not least, Vel, how was your stream been going, dude? I know you had a pretty big one today. What's been going on?
Yeah. Today was nuts. Like my highest view count without any raids or anything in a while. So it was pretty cool. It was a good day. And then I started introducing a schedule for the games that I played during the week. So, and I've been like super against that before, but I'm willing to try it out. So it's been a cool week.
Nice. Yeah, liking the scheduling system so far?
So far, yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Well, that's a cool topic to touch on if we have some time to scheduling game content in addition to actual just stream time. But yeah, guys, we're gonna kick off the show here with TwitchCon stuff. So if you have a question related to TwitchCon or other things, you can still ask them, but drop them in the chat or in the Discord chat. Just tag at TRUgaming so I see it in big red right there. Whoever you'd like to direct it at, and we'll talk about it. So, but first off, I want to go around. So all of us have been to TwitchCon before. I think Anna was there 2 years ago, and the rest of us were there 3 years ago. If that, rocking that badge.
First year.
We were all just showing off our affiliate badges.
Oh, mine's in my office. I gotta go get it.
Well, you weren't prepared, Green.
For this year? We don't have them yet, right?
1G.
Well, no, not yet. You get them when you walk in. You get them as you
I was like, am I missing something? Because I don't have it yet. Okay. Yeah. We're good.
See, these are the kinds of questions we can answer on this show. If you guys have questions about TwitchCon.
If you don't get your badge yet, you're good.
All All right, well, let's start with just an explanation, maybe going around of like our experiences at TwitchCon, what it was like. And I'll kick this off to Vel first, since you were there last year. What is sort of your impression of TwitchCon? Maybe talk about like what you thought it was going to be going into it, and then how it was when you actually got there. I think that'd be useful for some people, and we'll go around and share that experience.
So when I first got there, I thought it was just going to be a bunch of people that were way cooler than me and were way more outgoing than I was. And I just thought it was going to be something cool and fun to do that, you know, like there would be some Twitch-related stuff, obviously. And when you get there, you realize that everyone's just as weird as you are and socially awkward as you are, but we all have the same interests. So it's really cool. It's like, it's just a great group of people. And just like this feel, like this energy there that is just like unbeatable. Like I've never, like, I know Dan was the same way when we were there. It felt like we could have done TwitchCon for an entire month and we would have been so happy. It was nuts. It's just a really cool place. You get some announcements before other people do about things that are coming with Twitch, and the panels are great. You get to learn a lot, and you get to just meet awesome content creators. It's just really cool. It's a great spot.
Yeah, that was my first time last year as well, so I definitely feel a lot of that. Anna, have you only been to one TwitchCon, or you've been to multiple?
I've been 2.
Okay.
I've been the first 2. I just skipped last year because I moved to Texas. I was in California before.
Okay, so you're the most experienced of anybody here for sure.
I guess. I'm
let's talk
behind
about,
a year, but I'm...
but still, you've been there more than anybody else. Let's talk about like then your perspective of going through multiple TwitchCons, how like what you expected going into the first one, how that changed going into the second one, just generally kind of your experience so far.
Yeah. The first one was like my first year of streaming, so honestly I didn't have very many expectations. I was just like, oh look, it's an hour and a half away from me, I guess I'll go for a day. I didn't even go the whole weekend just because it was in San Francisco and hotels are way so expensive. But we went and it was a blast. Like I met actually one of my really good moderators at that TwitchCon, and he's still around today. So he was just someone that was just a regular viewer before, and then we became, you know, good friends. We chatted, and now he's a part of the stream all the time. I think that's great that you can meet, you know, people from your community, and you might not even realize that they're going to be there, or, you know, and then you start talking to them and they're like, oh yeah, I watch your stream. And then I don't know, it's kind of crazy how it all works. And there is like a buzz, there is a big energy at the TwitchCons, like no other con. Like I went to PAX, you know, I've been to a couple PAXs, and it's a bit different. Like it's still a buzz, but this is all about like streaming and streamers. And so it hits a lot closer to home to a lot of us, I think. Yeah,
for sure, because you're so deep in it.
So much. I am really, really excited to go again, because the second year I feel like I did a little bit more. Like I learned the first year like what there is, what it's about, and the second year I actually went for the whole weekend and made it a whole trip and everything, and it was totally worth it. Like if you guys can make it happen, I highly recommend TwitchCon.
Awesome. Yeah, it's cool to hear. I think we definitely felt some of that too last year with like meeting people in person. Just is so it adds a lot more to those people that you might have already known for a while, but just getting the chance to hang out with them in person and meet them even more just like builds that really solid relationship. So that part's really cool.
Definitely.
All right, well Dan, the last one here, what was your impression of TwitchCon going in, and how did it change coming out?
There were a lot of lines. And those lines were long, so be prepared for anybody going. The lines were like, just to get in the first day, it felt like an hour, and then we had to sit in another line for another like half hour, and then the merge line was like 45 minutes. So just get ready for lines. But it was awesome. It was different than what I expected. I didn't really know what to expect. Like you go to a conference that's all about like, or convention that's all about Twitch, but there's a lot more diversity there, which I think is a good example of what Twitch really is. There's games, there's exhibitors that are trying to like pitch business stuff and maybe find sponsors or what have you. There's a creative corner of people that just want to sell you the stuff they make on Twitch, which is really, really cool. There's informative panels like running all weekend, and this year there's going to be Games Done Quick, which is fantastic if you know what that is, and if you don't, then I'm sorry, you just need to look into Games Done Quick. But yeah, it was my favorite conference I've attended out of the ones I have. I've only attended 3, but it would just felt so consummate. It felt like the Twitch culture in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That they nailed it. At least the last year they did.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's the coolest thing, is that that everyone there knows Twitch. It's so interesting because like I feel like most of us in our lives, like Twitch is still this kind of unknown thing where like you have to explain what it is to people if you meet them, or just some people don't know about it. And at TwitchCon, everyone knows what it is, and so you can just like immediately go to the second or third level of talking Twitch with people, which is pretty cool. So all right. So, okay, we got a couple different things we can work through here. I haven't seen any questions yet, so I'll keep an eye out for those. If you guys have specific questions about stuff at the con, let us know. We can start with, I think, so there's panels we can talk through, like which panels you want to look at. There's exhibitors, there's different like events. Maybe we'll start with, let's start with the very biggest things that you want to take away with going to TwitchCon. Like this year going to TwitchCon, like what are one or two of the biggest things you want to make sure you happen at that con? I'll start this with Vel. Let's kick it off to you first.
Okay. Yeah. So the first thing I want to do, like more than anything at TwitchCon, because I think it'll put me in like the right mind. Like I'm already excited and I'm already super pumped for it. But last year, the most fun, like, or at least not the most fun, but the thing that really started everything off right was that first keynote. Because they're basically just like, welcome to fucking TwitchCon. Like you're gonna have a blast here. Like people love it. It's gonna be amazing. Like they really put in like there's so much effort just put into that first keynote, and they just hype it up so much, and just the energy that like the Amazon. I think they had people from Amazon there, and they had corporate people from Twitch, and it was just awesome. Like everybody gets into it, even like the higher up people, and like they're just they feel this energy, and they just want to like push that out to you. Like it's seriously like we were saying earlier, the energy of Twitch, but in like a really confined space. And it's kind of like, welcome to the revolution. Like this is it. Like it feels so cool. It's like it's amazing. I need to do that. The first keynote is the most important thing to me for TwitchCon.
Yeah, I agree. The keynote's really cool too, because that's when they unveil a lot of stuff usually. Like all the big announcements. And I saw, like, I was looking through some of the panels, and one of them was talking about, like, they're going to talk about in that panel something announced at TwitchCon. They literally said dashboard and something announced at TwitchCon. So it's pretty cool to see they have stuff they're going to be releasing. It's always cool to watch, just like any other kind of game press conference. So that's really cool. They had like some cool sort of like VR game going on last time too. You guys want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, it was cool because the Twitch chat that was watching could like influence it, but then all the people in the room were getting way into it. And
it started out like nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what was happening. We were just like, what is it? Like robots?
Chat never found out really until like they were told by somebody at the conference. Like they were in the Twitch channel just spamming these emotes. Like, what's even happening? And we were in the glitch theater like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing.
It was so cool. Like that room got so energetic over this stupid game. Like it was the biggest deal. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so cool. Holy crap, man! I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's cool to be like on that side of it, like in such a huge Twitch chat and seeing it in action there in person. It was a really cool feeling. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the keynote as well. Dan, what are you looking to take away from this conference the most? Like going into it, what's your target?
One of the biggest things is kind of like what Devin said, or Velok said, where it's going to be the keynote to start it off. I mentioned that to the people I'm staying with this year. Like, that's the thing I want to go to, because last year it was so informative. Like, it was very hype. It was very exciting. I saw a lot of big partners just walking through a crowd like, oh my God, like it was really cool. But the biggest thing was when we were sitting down and they were discussing, and we learned about gifted subs, and we learned about raids, and we learned about extensions, and we learned about so much stuff there that was brand new at the time that is literally essential today. I mean, so I can't think of a single channel that doesn't benefit from gifted subs or raids. So it's just really cool to see that they're already showcasing that they have something new planned. It shows that Twitch is working. And that's what I'm most excited about, is to see what I'm going to come home from TwitchCon with knowledge that I wouldn't have had, at least as quickly, had I not gone. And that also kind of pulls into the panels. I loved the panels last year. I think I showed you how antsy I was. I'd always look at my phone like, ooh, I gotta hit this panel. Are we gonna have time to hit this panel? And like they were really informative, and I want to go again to as many as I can.
Wow. Yeah, we'll talk to like specifically panels in a second here in terms of like which ones you're really interested in, because most of us looked through the TwitchCon website and picked out some things we want to go to.
Evan.
I looked through it.
Yeah, that's
2 minutes before we got here.
He was busy. He was streaming, and you gotta stream sometime.
Streaming and working, man.
Anna, I want to hear your thoughts too on, since you've been to 2 of these now. Do you have the same answer as these guys, or do you have something different that you're looking to take away from this conference?
I think this one for me and what I'm focused on now is all about like talking to other people, meeting the people that I see every day online, and try to talk to them in real life to make that direct connection. And of course, I'm excited for all the stuff that Twitch is announcing, and I'm looking forward to a lot of the panels. But I'm really focused on trying to talk to different people and get to know them more, so that we can create more friendships over the time that we have. Because TwitchCon is just such like a I don't know how to explain it. Like everyone is so similar minded and stuff that it's easy to kind of like it's scary to talk to people, but in the same time, like once you start talking to people, it's totally worth it. Like you'll have a blast. So I'm looking forward to making connections and meeting all the cool people that
Yeah. So are you focused mainly on people that you already know and just meet them in person, or is it a lot of like new networking?
Well, because I'm also going for Streamloots, we're kind of talking to everyone. We want to talk to everyone in addition to, like, I have my own stuff that I want to do, but then Streamloots wants me to talk to pretty much anyone I can talk to. So, yeah, it should be fun.
I'm sort of in the same boat with true streaming stuff that we're doing at the conference. But I think that is kind of also one of the coolest things about the con is just meeting lots of people, and especially people that you can follow up with after the con and still stay connected with. I think that's probably what I'm most excited for too. So, yeah. Sweet. We have one question submission, not related to TwitchCon, so I'm going to hold off on that for a bit. If we get some TwitchCon submissions, we'll jump into those. We will get your question for your utmost, so stay tuned. So, okay, I guess we can talk through, if you guys look through like the events and different things going on for the weekend. So, basically, the big 3 BRs are having events. PUBG, Fortnite, and COD are having events during the conference. There's a roast at DanTheDapper. There's a party on Friday night. I think it's Friday.
That we know nothing about yet.
Yeah, they always do that. Just leave all the details out until last minute. But so like, are you guys interested in going to any of these sort of events? I guess the Keynote you guys already mentioned. That's the big one. Are you looking at events, or are you going to be focusing more on, the expo and sessions and things? I'll start with Dan on this one. Curveball.
No, not really. I mean, so I really want to go to as many of the panels as I can. I really want to do what I can during Twitch's they're I guess 10 to 6 or whatever their convention expo is. But once it comes down to the party, for me it's going to be, I'm going with a lot of friends, so I want to still also make this about them and about us. So the time I have, unless they also want to go to that party, I'd rather hang out with them or the people I meet during the day. And whether it's going out to have a good dinner, whether it's going back to the hotel with my friends, just something to where we can talk about everything that's happened. I mean, I don't want to say I'm looking at this like a business thing, because I'm going to drink, but I don't want to go out and drink until super late night and then be hungover and then be, I don't want to go to a traditional party unless everyone else is, whatever. That's not what my site is. So I guess to TLDR it, just basically the expo.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Vel, what's your take on this? What's your plan?
I want to go see the roast of DanTheDapper.
Yeah, all right.
DanTheDapper's my boo. He's the first streamer I ever actually enjoyed watching on Twitch, and the first streamer I was like, he seems pretty chill. Like, he's not trying to put on an act or anything, and like, he's the reason why I started streaming on Twitch. I was like, I can just be myself on Twitch. Like, that's cool. Like, and you know, I was like, I like video games and I kind of like people, so I'll give it a try. And like, DanTheDapper was the first streamer I ever subbed to, first streamer I ever really followed or anything. And he's been a big part of my stream for sure. At least like of how I act on stream.
Yeah, that's one of the things that like I don't really want to go to too many events because I feel like you'll get a lot more value out of like just going to the expo floor and networking. But that's one of the things that man, that's gonna be so funny because you know that Tim will take it well of people who can be roasted. Yeah. And did you see who's doing the roast, by the way?
Like Ninja, Dr. Lupo, Jackson. Who was the other one?
I can't remember the fourth.
I'm Trevor May.
Yeah, I think it'd be really funny to see like all of them there and then roast. Like that's gonna be some good content, that's for sure. So maybe I have to go to that one too. Anatlus, are you looking to go to any events at all? Are you mostly gonna be working and not able to go to them, or not want to?
I've some like meetups that I have to go to for like certain game companies or, you know, stuff like that I have to go do. But I'm mainly looking forward to just being on the expo floor and like being able to talk to people and see what all the booths are offering and everything. Like I love just being on the expo floor for the main part. And just being around there. But I'm excited for like, you know, they have like the big charity event going on all weekend. They have the artists, you know, I like seeing what the artists do and stuff. So I'm just going to be exploring everything pretty much. But
yeah. Cool. So like no big events jumping out. I mean, you're doing the networking events sort of, but none of the big, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are for probably more targeted at like viewers attending the con or people who just want to see entertainment because I mean, they're very entertaining for sure. But I think if you want to get the most out of the con, you just can't beat the expo floor and networking and sessions. That's like the bread and butter of taking stuff away.
And all that,
yeah, for sure. We had a quick question from SRI_Dika. Said, we can get our passes the day before, right? Yes, you can pick them up on Thursday. I'm not sure what time you can start picking them up, but I think that's what we're doing. So recommend it. And then we had a question from For Your Utmost. So this is for everybody here. If any of you have been to other cons besides TwitchCon, what are the differences between TwitchCon and other cons? So I know all of you have been to other conferences. I'll kick this off to Anna because she's been to like PAX, which is another huge con. Like, what are the main differences between TwitchCon and PAX or other cons?
I'd say the main difference is it's just a wider variety of people and things. Like you're gonna get more like board games and like just random hobbies and more niche type things. And TwitchCon is way more focused on just the Twitch culture and everything related to Twitch. So when you're at like a PAX, like PAX West or PAX South, it's gaming. Like if you want to see new games, I'd say PAX is better for that. TwitchCon, they may have a couple new games, but it's more about streaming and stuff like that. So it's a bit different of a vibe. Yeah.
I think TwitchCon's really cool because it's a very educational conference if you want it to be.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's another cool thing is you can choose whether you just want to, you know, go have fun and watch big BR tournaments and play games, or if you want to go, like you could spend the entire weekend in sessions just taking notes if you wanted to.
Like you have no time.
So that's pretty cool. Dan, I know you've been to, you know, ECGC and Playthrough, maybe some other cons I don't know about. What's the difference between those sort of cons and TwitchCon?
I honestly, so I've only been to the 3 that TRUgaming has graciously allowed me to attend, and there is a definite change in atmosphere because Twitch was more informative. Twitch had more culture and more of a presence. Like their brand is present. So when you're there, you feel much more identified with what you're doing. I think that one thing about TwitchCon that's really, really cool is no matter what your interest as a viewer, as a streamer, as a seller, as a sponsor, as anything that has to do with video gaming or you know, live streaming, there's something there for you. Whether you want to check out the new games that are coming out, because like last year they had like several new releases, games that weren't even out yet that were playable on the floor. You could stream from like Intel's booth and other booths and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get your 5 minutes of fame on a big Twitch site, there you go. It's just, there's anything there for you. Whereas a lot of other cons are going to be much more tailored. So it's really, really cool to be able to attend something so unique and so well-rounded.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to what Anna said there, giving you that flexibility of people who are kind of like more on the professional side versus just casual viewers, and the whole range between. There's something for you to do at TwitchCon, which is really cool. Yeah. Velok, any other thoughts on that we haven't covered yet, or any other differences you've seen between cons?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with other conventions outside of TwitchCon, you're going to be getting a lot more. Well, there's a lot of people that don't know what Twitch is at those other conventions, like Playthrough, ECGC. More people knew about it at ECGC, I think, but Playthrough, like, that was more focused on like retro gaming or tabletop gaming, and so like people don't necessarily know about Twitch as much. So there's a lot of explaining to do with that, which is really cool because sometimes you get like newer viewers just because like they're like, oh, I met you and I want to check out this Twitch thing. Why not come check out your stream because I already met you before? You're gonna get a lot more like people who are potential viewers at those events as a side, as where at TwitchCon you're gonna get a lot more people who you're just trying to connect with them and like trying to like kind of merge your communities if you can. Not too many streamers at other events. A lot more viewers is the big difference that I noticed for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a streamer conference, right? So it makes sense that there's a lot more there. So very cool. So Dan mentioned the streamer booth. I know that Devin and Dan and I all did that last year. Anna, have you ever streamed from the con on like one of the setups or Intel type things?
I did actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It was kind of last minute. Yeah, I wasn't like asked to or anything, but it was at, I don't know, it was 2 years ago. It was a game called Breakaway that was by Amazon Studios. And they were like releasing it, and it was this big old booth and all that. And they're like, we can hop you on here and you can stream, come back in an hour or two. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's like my dream. I didn't think that I was able to do that even back then. But yeah, they had like a bunch of computers set up that people were testing the game on. And they also had some of the computers that they allowed some streamers to use for like half an hour. But they like forgot about me, and I streamed for like an hour and a half. So it was really fun. Like that was like a highlight probably of that whole TwitchCon, because I did not expect to have been allowed to do that, because usually the streaming is harder to get into from what I've seen. I don't know if it's how it was last year, but...
Right. So last year they had this whole row of computers that were set up with like double monitors and chairs and cameras and mics, and you could get there to register for a slot to stream later in the day for like an hour. We did that. We all shared one booth for an hour, which was crazy. And the VOD's somewhere out there.
8 people.
Yeah, but like since we've all experienced this, I'm curious, because one of the big things during TwitchCon is you just want to stream so badly, because the entire weekend you're just consuming stuff that tells you how to stream better and new things to stream, and it's like you're just dying to stream by the end of it. I'm curious for you guys, like, since you have streamed the con going into it this year, is that something you want to do again? Do you think like there's a better use of your time? How much do you prioritize that? I'll start this one with Dan again.
Yeah, I'll probably be streaming more than last year, only because I didn't know what to expect, so it was a lot more of an absorption. But this year, knowing a little bit more, I'm going to be doing I'll be doing streams from like not booths so much. Like I might do that because I when we went to last year, they were like, you could choose these 3 shooters, play one of these 3 games. That's what we have installed on the system, and this is not what I stream. So tuning into my own channel, playing games that make no sense, it's just like, what the heck? But hey, he's live. So what I plan on doing is I'll be probably doing a lot of IRL streams right from my phone, and those will be, something that I'll have a lot more free time to do than, last year I would have, because I was too busy just wandering around, getting lost, and absorbing everything.
On a Sodomy last year, huh?
Pulling a Sodomy, yeah. Oh, that kid was everywhere. Yeah. He's going again this year, right?
Yep, he's gonna meet us there. Vel, so I know the game you play will be installed on these machines. So Is this something you want to do this year too, or what are your thoughts on here?
Absolutely, I think it'll be really cool, especially if I can set a time slot for it and give my community a heads up. I definitely want to stream from the floor. I also want to do some IRL streams, like Dan was just saying, just because like being in that moment is really cool, and sharing that with your community, I think that's really important. Especially because our communities are the reason why we're there in the first place. So kind of sharing that with them and showing them like, hey, I'm here and I'm here because of you guys. Like that's really what I want to do for sure. To just like thank them and kind of like have them experience a little bit of it with me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really good point. If your community like financially helped you get to the con, or I mean, just being there helps you really be interested in Twitch. That's a cool reason to give back to them through the streaming while you're there. You know, Anna, I know last time you did this was kind of accidental, it seems like, but like, if you had the chance to sign up for it this year, do you think that'd be something you'd be interested in doing?
I don't know if I'll have the time. I think I'm going to do more just IRL streams this year, and or like vlogs that I actually might try to compile into like a video for YouTube. But if something comes up and a game that is interesting to me, then I probably won't say no, but I'm not specifically looking out for it. And I know I don't play like the big shooter regular games that are probably going to be on those types of computers. So maybe I'd have to find a smaller company that was trying to advertise a different game. Then maybe I might try it, but I'm going to be very busy as it is. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat here. It's a really cool experience, but it definitely, like, I think Anna and I, just being there somewhat for work, not going to be able to do it. If you guys do want to do it, again, they have this, usually, this is last year. I don't know if it'll be exactly the same this year, but they had a line of computers that you could, basically you get there in the morning and you sign up for a slot later in the day for an hour. And it's first come, first served, so you have to get there very quickly. What I recommend doing, what we did, is like find the place on the first day and scope it out, and then the second or third day, be there right as it enters and literally sprint for the computer break. That's what we had to do. But if you do that, then you'll get your pick of which slot you want, and then you can pick something later in the day and come back, or maybe do it right there if you want to. But that's how we did it if you're interested in doing that. For sure. Dan or Vel, any other tips that people should know if they want to do that?
As far as streaming goes?
Yeah, like if they're going to stream from the booth, like maybe setting up stuff. Like one thing I thought would be cool is if you use slobs, if these machines have slobs on them, you could theoretically set up a scene beforehand and just have it ready to go in the cloud. So that's kind of nifty idea. But any like, you know, maybe streaming from the con floor, was that different for you guys with all the people there watching you and talking? Or just any tips like streaming there in that booth?
No, I mean, I think just announcing it to your community beforehand will be the biggest thing, because you could definitely just like surprise your community with a stream from the floor and have nobody there because nobody saw it in time. You know what I mean? So I would definitely just say give a good announcement. Tips
that we need to add?
If you're a variety streamer, try to, or even if you're a single game streamer, try to make sure it's a game that actually pertains to your community. Because at the end of the day, you're still streaming. Like, you're still like streaming to your channel. So if you play a game that makes no sense, but it's just what was given to you, you know, make sure that you're trying to at least find something your community is cool with watching, or maybe at least do what Devin said and announce it and say, this is the game I'm going to be playing. It's different, but I'm at TwitchCon, so hype, show up. And as long as you cater it that way, it might be good. But definitely trying to stay true to yourself, but more importantly, just making sure people actually know you're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And if you get there like the day early, like we said, you can probably see what people are playing, so you know what's installed on those machines. You can kind of plan out ahead of time and let your community know. So yeah, it's a cool experience though. I definitely recommend trying it at least once if you've never done it before, because streaming from a con floor is pretty cool with all the energy happening right there. So recommend it. Okay, let me see that we didn't miss any questions here. Okay, so this is a good question, kind of the inverse of that. So Meemaw asks, what do you plan to do to keep your community involved if you cannot stream during the con? So if you can't do the booth streaming, and if you can't maybe do IRL streaming, how would you guys recommend someone to keep their community involved if they just can't stream during it? I'll kick this off with Anna this time.
Twitter. Posting pictures, you know, if you can at least take pictures and share what you're doing, what, you know, where you're at. People will follow you on Twitter and people are looking up for TwitchCon, what people are doing at TwitchCon, and Twitter is a big one for that. Also, if you can, like, just video, because I know, like, streaming is hard because the network might not be great, but if you can video and then upload it, you know, when you get back to the hotel room, maybe do some vlogging, I would recommend that, I would think.
Yeah, that's one thing that we did last year, and that was one of the things that I was the happiest that we did, basically, was vlog.
Yeah.
It's really cool because it lasts beyond the con, too, if you want to do more stuff with it. Yeah, like that. Velok, what are your thoughts on someone staying connected with their community while not being able to stream during the con?
Okay. Snapchat is something that I will be using quite a lot. You know, just sending quick snaps to the people that are following me. Yeah, you can do Discord, like still talking to your community in the live chat and everything. Twitter, Instagram, just staying on social media as much as possible and like showing them like, this is what I'm doing right now. Thank you guys so much. Having a blast. Can't wait to get back to you guys. Stuff like that. Just to kind of like make them feel like, you know, you're not just off doing something else and forgetting about them, because, you know, they're the reason why you're there for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just involving them. Dan, what are your thoughts on this question?
So last year I had a lot of my viewers like saying, hey, I know one of my other streamer friends that's going to the, you know, to TwitchCon. You should meet up with them. And I was pretty much like, well, it's not my time. I have this and this, you know, allocated. I don't know if I can, but hey, you know, I might send them a tweet and see if they're, you know, free or whatever. This year I'll plan on doing that in a lot more of a caliber. There's a lot of streamers that I know my community likes that will be attending. So it'd be really cool for them to see us having a good time together, whether it's just a picture together, whether it's going out to even eat. I think that would be something that, I mean, anybody would love. If they see two of their favorite people on Twitch having an awesome moment together, it would make them even more excited to talk about it when you stream next. Like, oh, that was so cool. We saw that, you know, what did you do after? Or whatever, that kind of thing. So the networking with like-minded people while you're there is going to be fantastic. And I think your community will appreciate you for it.
That's a really cool idea, actually, because not only are you helping the community, but that gives you like a potential kind of icebreaker or a good way to network with other people who you might not have met before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have this common viewer, you know him. They asked if we could get a picture together or talk or something. That's a cool way to kick off networking very easily. So I like that a lot. Definitely do that, guys, if you can. Cool. Well, thank you for the question, Meemaw. I definitely recommend Instagram too, which I don't think we touched on. Like the stories, similar to Snapchat. Lots of pictures. I'm gonna be focusing on that a lot this year. So use it for sure. And Discord, somebody mentioned Discord's always good. If that's where your community is, then give them stuff there. Okay. So really quickly, just on Twitch news. Looked this week and didn't see a ton of Twitch news because everything's prepping for TwitchCon. But I did see they added like a little, and this is just on one of the browsers I have, but there's a notification bell now on the channel pages. I just saw that
today.
Yeah, I think this came out like today, as far as I know. I saw it on Bell's stream, only on one of my browsers. But so similar to like how on YouTube where you have the follow and the bell button, now there's a bell button next to the follow button on channel pages, which is pretty interesting. And mine was like on by default, but that's the first that I've seen. The other thing I saw, they split up past broadcasts into chapters now. Both of these pictures are in the Discord if you want to see them in action on the channel pages. But yeah, they'll actually split up your past broadcasts into chapters based on the different games that you stream. And this may have been here for a little while. I had never seen it till this week.
I think it has. I think it has. I think I've seen it like a month ago, but it's still fairly new. And I was curious about it. Is this new or I don't know. I never remembered it was there. I don't know.
Well, those are just two things that I saw this week. The bell thing in particular is interesting because maybe that'll lead to more viewers getting your notifications. If you like, now you can also promote the bell. Like, pulling on YouTube here, but click the bell, guys, if you want to get notified. Did you guys see anything else that I missed in terms of news this last week, or anything big happening with Twitch?
No.
Not so much right now.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine a lot of it is just prepping for TwitchCon, which I can understand. And maybe the bell is tied into something new. I'm sure we'll have a lot, like literally a week from today, there'll be a lot to talk about.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. But just want to give you guys the update in case you want to know what's happening with Twitch. Okay, so while we're waiting for more questions, again, guys, we're about an hour in now. You can ask questions on the show, and we will answer them, debate them, talk about them, especially if they're related to TwitchCon, because that's the focus of this week's episode. But anything else related to streaming, we have a few other non-TwitchCon but streaming-related questions we'll get to in a sec. But I do want to continue the discussion on to... Let's talk about sessions. So there's a lot of sessions happening during the weekend, like a lot. You can browse through the TwitchCon site if you want to see them. But I'm curious to hear from you guys, especially Dan and Anna, maybe Vel, if you had a chance to look, which sessions, if you're going to any, that you are really looking forward to and really want to make sure you get to. And I'll start with Dan, because I have a feeling that he has a lot scoped out, if I know him right.
Yeah, so give me like 5 seconds. There it is. So yeah, my schedule is like stupidly packed. I'm not gonna maybe see all of it, but I have probably at least a dozen panels that I've at least favorited so that I get a reminder in my calendar. Obviously the keynote. There's if you guys watched, there was a not Twitch Presents, but like they showcased a Stream On competition, which was an interactive, like almost game show of theirs, where they took a bunch of partner streamers and had them almost duke it out in a, who is just the best streamer and whatever. And they're having a professional streaming mindset. They're wrapping their head around what they did and seeing what people think. They're going to have the winner there, Wavy, as well as a couple of other streamers, and they're going to talk about what they have in the future because of it. I'm very excited to see that. And then just some other stuff too, like there's a streamer showdown and a couple of goofy ones that just sound really cool. And then the roast of Tim the Tatman. So if you look there's a TwitchCon app on the Play Store and I'm sure the Apple Store. You probably wouldn't be able to see it very well based on me doing this, but it showcases like you can go to your activities and see what you're doing, and you can go to the schedule, and it's just like it just scrolls. It'll just all that in one day. That's just Friday, and then there's Saturday. So there's a bunch, but honestly, it's like I made a perfect scenario schedule, and I'm probably gonna have to miss like 25% of it. But
I mean, there's a lot. I was looking through last night, just like putting down session after session, basically. But I think it's a good idea to work in some fun ones there too, because ideally, like you could go the whole weekend to educational panels, but you're gonna get so sick of it. So make sure you don't do that. Yeah. Make sure you leave some time for fun and doing things that you just want to see, just cause. I think that's important.
Yeah. I had to. There were a lot of overlapping panels. Choose the ones that you truly don't know about, not the ones that you're excited about but already have knowledge. They're there to help you learn, not to help you feel like you already know it all. Yeah,
that's so good, because there are a lot that, I mean, they sound interesting and they're probably good, but some that we went to last year for sure, like I didn't really come out learning anything. It was cool to hear people talking about, but I kind of knew all the stuff they talked about already. So be careful about that and choose stuff that so one that I found, for example, I think, so Sunday at 1:30, Streamer or CEO is what it's called. This is like with tax professionals talking about forming an LLC and like how to deal with your taxes on Twitch revenue. And that's just like so over my head that I know if I went to that, I'd be learning a lot of valuable info. So look for stuff like that you don't have a lot of experience in, that someone who's credible can give you some insight on, for sure. Anna, do you have any sessions scoped out that you're going to be looking to go to this week?
A few, but I honestly don't know how many. I'll probably make like 1 or 2 a day. That's it. Like with how busy I'm going to be. But I did write down a few different ones. There's one about cooking streams, because when I move in a couple weeks, I'm going to be starting up cooking streams again. Pretty hard. So I thought I would, like, I've done it before, but I'd like to learn some tricks from like the people who are actually professionals and are doing this. So I thought that was really interesting for pertaining to what I'm trying to do next. Other than that, like there's a lot of stuff I'm interested in, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna make the time for. There's Cosplay Contest. Cosplay Contest is always really fun to watch. If you guys, it's on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. And then they have like a meet and greet afterwards, so I like going to that just to see what people can create. And awesome.
There's always some cool stuff there, for sure.
Definitely.
Nice. I mean, the cooking one sounds pretty cool too. I know that's becoming like more trendy recently, so I'm sure that'll be helpful too if you're interested in that.
Definitely. And the CEO one, like the one you talked about. Sorry, I didn't make.
No, you're good. There's a little bit of delay with the Discord, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vel, I would imagine that you're looking through the website right now. Are there any that catch your interest?
No, I was maybe just looking through them just to refresh my brain. But it's pretty much just the Tim the Tatman roast that I'm excited for. The other ones, they seem cool. They don't seem like they're going to be important enough to take away time from being on the floor. Because I mean, obviously we do need to go and connect with people and find new people, and obviously meet people that we've tried to connect through on Twitch already. So the Tim the Tatman roast I will do just because like I can't pass up on that. The other stuff, it seems really cool, but it doesn't seem important enough for me to schedule and go to, for at least for the sessions.
Yeah, that's fair. So I'm curious then how like you're going to use the expo time, but just for a second, we do have a question from the chat. So Wild Fathom said, what do you think of the increasing cost of TwitchCon and its cost/benefit to the small streamer? So TwitchCon, I guess, I actually don't know, is getting more expensive over the year. Do you think basically you get enough value out of it as a small streamer versus like a partner? And so this is pretty applicable to all of us here. I'll kick this off with Dan first. What are your thoughts on the cost benefit basically?
So TwitchCon is probably one of the most expensive conferences just in general. It's really expensive. I mean, it's like it's $180 for affiliates, or it's like $200 naturally just to get in for a weekend. And it's California, so the hotels are really expensive. It is a really, really expensive, venture. But it really depends on what you want out of streaming. Like, do you just love Twitch culture and you really just want to be involved in it more? It really comes down to like, would you go to any other conference, and if so, why? You have to weigh that yourself. Like for me, to me, it's worth it. It'll help me learn how to possibly stream better. It will allow me to network with a lot of the friends I've made. It is just something that in my mind, it fits. It's like you get that gut feeling and it's like, yes. So putting it on paper, you might find you'd be surprised at how much you'll want to go by the time you're done writing it down. But there's always going to be that initial concern because, it is really, really expensive. So budget correctly, don't break the bank for it. But
Velok, what's your take on this with the expense of it versus the payoff?
Okay, so it depends on where you're at as a streamer. Like Dan was saying, like being a part of the culture is a huge deal. If it wouldn't have been for TRUgaming last year, I probably wouldn't have gone, just because it is a lot of money. You have to remember that when you're first starting out, there's a lot of things that are very general knowledge that you don't necessarily know yet, and they don't really cover at TwitchCon. So you're going to be able to meet a lot of new people, and you're going to be able to really get a good feel for Twitch and like what it wants to do, and you're going to get all these cool announcements. But I feel like there's a lot more benefit if you have somewhat of a community behind you, because if you go into TwitchCon as a brand new streamer, all the stuff that you're trying to learn you can find on the internet. You're not going to be able to network as well with other people because, like, obviously it has to be a win-win for everybody. And if you want to go network with somebody but you don't have the community that that other person does or anywhere close to it, they might not want to interact or even connect with you too much, just because it needs to be worth their time as well. So I think making sure you have a community behind you that can back you is a big deal to make sure that it's worth it, at least in my opinion.
No, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think you can get value out of it as a small streamer, but like you'll get the most as having somewhat of a community, because like you said, then you have something sort of more prominent to offer other people, and basically the bigger you are, the bigger you can network with, if that makes sense. It kind of increases like your cap. And it's not like a direct 1-for-1 ratio, but I think it gives you more stuff to do at the con too. Like if you have viewers who are going to meet you there, you have something to show the community that comes out of it, like sharing on social, like we said, just more to do with it. So I think there is a lot of benefit there. But Anna, I'm curious your thoughts on this too, because you've been twice before this. I'd imagine not both times with the company, probably paying for yourself at least once.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So
The
what are your
first few
thoughts
times
there?
was just because I lived really close. But honestly, it is really expensive. But I think it is worth it if you're thinking of taking streaming, you know, a little bit more seriously. Take it to the next level. I feel like you can learn a lot. You can meet a lot of companies. Like there's a lot of different like connections you'll make to just people that are at the convention that make it worth it in the long run. Like I got a gaming peripheral sponsorship because I went to TwitchCon a couple years ago because I talked to them on the floor and they're like, oh yeah, we saw you on Instagram, you know, here, let's hook you up with sponsorship. I'm like, okay. But if you're really small, I'd say only do it if you're for sure like focused on trying to take it next level, because it is a really expensive event to go to in general. But as a medium or larger streamer, you benefit a lot more, I think, from it.
Like, I think it's gonna be hard to make back. Like if you're looking to just make a return on what you pay for it through like the stream or something, that's not gonna happen. But there's a lot of benefits that are hard to measure from it. Like one of the biggest ones that I saw from, you know, Dan and Velok and myself from last year was just like kind of the motivational aspect and the inspirational aspect of being like so pumped up about like, okay, I didn't realize the ceiling was so high here. Like all these things that can happen on Twitch, all these other great people I'm around. That is really valuable. And you get that whether you are a new person or an experienced one, just seeing everyone else there. So that's a big part of it. And also just meeting lots of people, like we said. One question we had from the chat here was, Panther Brutus said, you're saying that inherent benefit is more of a social one rather than a channel growth one, for sure. TwitchCon is not a con you go to grow your channel. I think you guys would probably agree with that, generally. Like, you're not going to leave TwitchCon with more followers than when you came in essence. It's going to give you tools, though, to grow your channel afterwards. And, you know, mentality and that sort of thing. So it's a lot about working on that and not just going to a con to get big, because that's not going to happen for anybody. I don't know if you guys have any follow-up thoughts on that.
Yeah, you're basically going to college for 3 days for streaming, essentially. Like, there's a lot of informative stuff there. You're going to do a lot of partying, probably, and it's just super informative. You get to meet cool people, and you get to socialize, and that's what it is. You're not going to come back with any more money. You're not going to come back with any more followers, subscribers, or any of that stuff, but you're going to learn how to stream better, and you're going to meet really cool people while you're there. And that's what it's about. It's college.
Absolutely. And, you know, STFU Becca in the chat said, I'm a small streamer and I would love to go just to meet people that I met through streaming. Yeah, I mean, that's totally true. Like, you don't have to go. You can go as a viewer, you know, someone who's not a streamer, and just enjoy the con. And that's just, you know, you don't look at it like a cost-benefit thing there. I mean, if you enjoy the con, then it's worth it. So, yeah, I think that's fair, for sure.
I would want to put out a mild contrast where I agree, like, you're not, unless you do something outrageous in almost a controversial way, you're probably not going to get significantly larger than you are walking in, or even any larger. But, I mean, Panther makes a good question, because there is long-term benefit growth-wise because of the tools and because of the hands you may shake. So while it is social, like, that's the biggest thing, is you're going to go there, you're going to learn, you're going to, you know, do what you hopefully set out to do, but there are going to be things you take away from it that you may have not known not going. You may have not met met certain people. It may have not become part of certain social circles on Twitch that could help you grow. Like, there is a growth factor, but it's not as blunt as I think 99% of people think. You're not going there because you can hand out your business cards and all of a sudden you're going to triple your growth. That is definitely not on the table. Like, it's not, unless you are a savant and you should start writing books. But you know, there is growth, Panther. It just depends on how you look at it and your timetables. It really is it. And I do want to backpedal just one thing about the expense versus the benefit. If you are a streamer, it is a tax write-off, so you can at least look at it that way. If you are trying to look into your taxes, which that streamer versus CEO thing that Green mentioned.
Go to that panel.
Really important. Yeah.
Go to that panel, because, like, yes, it is expensive, but if you are a streamer and you are getting income, your plane tickets are write-off, the TwitchCon is a write-off, your food while you're there could be considered partially a write-off. Like, there's a lot of it that you can at least liquidate because of it. You know, it's you're not going to make more money than what you spend, but you can at least look at it like, hey, the money I did make, now I have something I can write off to kind of counterbalance that, because taxes suck when you're self-employed. They just do.
Yeah, the tax stuff goes so over my head. That's why I definitely recommend that panel. And there's probably more resources out there, but I think that's just gonna be invaluable from actual, you know, tax lawyers. There's some guy who is like, he's a streamer and also a tax lawyer, so that's kind of cool. They'll be going over all that stuff, so definitely check it out if you want to go. I'm kind of curious. So you talked about, Dan, like there is potential to grow if like you shake the right hands and do things like that. Are you talking about like during the conference or afterwards?
Me, I would say it's going to be the growth is coming afterwards. I don't think anybody is going to stop during the conference and say, I'm going to blow you up right now. Like, we're going to make this happen. But like, I've met streamers that have grown because of just what they've done after TwitchCon. And I wouldn't even know them if I hadn't gone to TwitchCon, because I don't follow in those circles naturally. But because of TwitchCon, I was able to know them, and because of that, I've learned a lot just from watching them, and also the networking that we have within each other's chats. So at the conference, no. Your outlook, 12 months, whatever, yes.
Well, I'm curious, like, I don't know how much you can talk about it, and if you want to drop names, but like, can you share any more detail there? Like, who actually... Yeah,
I mean, I don't think she would mind. So we all met her. It was the last day of TwitchCon. It was Sunday, and it was Seriously Curious. She, at the time, was and I looked her up instantly because I loved her vibe. She was like, she was a variety streamer. Like, I connected with her instantly, and I'd like to think that she was like, this kid's all right, because we both had the same games and interest. And she was playing like Breath of the Wild and whatever, and she was a very new streamer. In fact, I even have one of her pins on my TwitchCon lanyard, right? So fast forward like 6 months, and she dove into the retro community like hard, like very heavily. And now she's variety, but she focuses on retro very much. And honestly, she's partner level. Like right now, like her viewership is partner level. She just hasn't applied yet. And that was a big jump from last year for her. So just simply being able to say that I know who she is and know that she's a rad person, and I'd like to think that she enjoys the time she spends in my chat, is just really cool. And I know people from her community, and people from my community now know her, and you know, it's just really cool to see that. I wouldn't have even known her if it weren't for it. And it's, you know, it's at the very least, it's a connection, and at most, at the very most and most pure, it's a good friendship, I would think. She's a really cool person. So
right. So are you saying that basically you saw growth as a result of meeting her, or that she did something at TwitchCon specifically that she saw growth from?
She was a better example of the growth than me. I mean, I think I've garnered her loyalty when the time permits for her. Like, she likes to pop in when she can, but she's a great example, because I mean, I talk her up all the time. She's like one of my top hosted people, because I just really I jive with her. Now on the other end of it, she does also host me. Now, granted, you know, are they going to be interested in non-retro stuff? Who knows? Because she's so tailored, whereas I'm more variety, so it's hard to say. But she's a great example of like how you can grow from it. And I mean, maybe it's because she watched a panel or what, but you know, within less than a year of the last con, she's well within partner, you know, status at least in my eyes. So
yeah, I'm curious. Like, I don't know if you have specifics you can think of, but like what she did during that con that would have made that difference. You know, like anything that we can learn from her from in that instance. I don't
know. You know, that's a question I never asked her. I try to ask as little as possible, unless it's like a hard technical thing. Like, I love to stay out of other people's business, because I'm obsessively worried that I'm going to annoy people. So I don't know what she took away from TwitchCon as opposed to what I feel I did. But I mean, I can only imagine that she.
You think it was related to TwitchCon, though?
I think that TwitchCon has the tools to make that story yours, is what I say. I think that, like, and I was just about to say it, but I actually already forgot. But, oh yeah, I totally lost it. But yeah, no, I mean, we all agree that the panels alone are informative enough. So I think that if you walk away with the correct knowledge, and even if you don't make any social networking like happen, if you go to the panels and you really absorb that right nugget of information from that panel you were excited about because you're really struggling in that area, it could jettison you. It could make you make the right moves going forward, and it could do that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, meeting people that are similar to you, like-minded, maybe even larger, or at least very similar, I mean, it can't hurt because you're garnering a new streaming friendship. So it's another person to host, another person to mingle in their chat. It's like there's definitely no chance you'll do worse in growth. So TwitchCon can only help, but it's not a guaranteed like shot in the arm. You're not going to get a booster from it. So that's why I still like agree with what we said. Like it's not a growth, overnight sensation, but it does have growth opportunity.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yep, totally agree. Cool. I think that's sort of a cool case study of how someone could take away something from TwitchCon and really make an impact on their channel. So I think it's important that we do talk about that and dissect it a little bit. So thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sweet. So let's circle back around. Again, I want to hold off on the non-TwitchCon questions till the end of the show. So guys, if you want questions answered, now's the time. Just tag us in the chat so we see them. But I'm curious because Velok said he's going to not spend much time in sessions, much at all. And the only event he's going to is the Tim Roast. So that means that 90% of his time is going to be on the expo floor. So,
well, I'm still gonna be going to panels. Like I'm still gonna be doing some of the panels, but like the sessions that are listed out on there, like none of those like sessions that are in the auditorium really sounded that important to me.
Like the stick it notes and the stuff like that, like the challenge stuff where you just watch other streamers do their thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. So I'm still gonna be doing some of the panels, obviously. Because I definitely want to learn. Absolutely, like there's like everybody has room to grow as far as like being a streamer, but with being on the floor. Like what we did last year, networking is huge, and like finding new people to talk to is huge. No matter if they're smaller, larger, same size, it doesn't matter. You're there to talk to people, and that's definitely what I'm going to be doing. And one of the things I do to do that is go find a line and just wait in it. It doesn't matter what it's for. Like you're trapping people around you, and I'm going to be like, I'll talk to you. It might take me a couple minutes to like get the good vibe from you. That like it's not going to be awkward if I just like step right up to you and be like, hey, I'm Vel. How are you? No, like. You're going to sit there and like, man, this line sucks, right? Like, man, it's just all this waiting here. And then like, that's a conversation, right? Like we just started something, and then you could potentially connect with that person and like trap people around you. Like I'm definitely going to be trapping people in conversations. You bet your ass. Like that's the easiest way to do it. It's the easiest way. So go wait in lines. Doesn't matter what it's for, because you're there to connect with people above all else.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's sort of what I want to break down, right? For someone who is new to a con, they keep hearing networking, go talk to people, like network, meet people. But they walk into the con day one and they're just like daunted by everything going on. What would you kind of say to that person to start the process of networking? Like, how do they dip their feet in and get used to that process? I'll kick this off to Anna first.
Say it again? I'm still waking up.
Yeah, you're good. Basically, for someone who's brand new to cons, hasn't been at any cons before, they keep hearing about the importance of networking and meeting people, yada yada, but they get in there day one and they're just kind of overwhelmed by the sheer size of the expo floor and all the people, and maybe they're introverted or something. Like, what would you tell people who are brand new to networking, who've never done it in real life, about how to navigate that process?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've gotten better, but I am kind of introverted in public places, so I definitely feel this. It's hard to like start conversations with people, but like if you're just doing things and people will you just try to talk to people around you. You don't have to like start conversations, but like maybe jump in if other like people are talking about something based on like at a booth, and you can talk to some people while they're looking at stuff at the booth, and then just try to connect like that. But I don't know, it's hard. It is hard to like bring it up, but you just got to try. That's all it is. Just try to talk to people. Just hang out. Like even if like you're at the they have like a outdoor cabana area for like drinking and stuff, so even if you need like a beer, go there and then see if you can listen up a little bit or something. I don't know, but it's just yeah,
I know Velok spent some time there last year networking, so
the Kappa Cabana.
There you go.
Cabana. That was my favorite.
They'll be there again. Yeah. I'll go to Dan next then. Like, what are your thoughts in that same kind of question?
So I'm introverted too. So it's also going to be like a lot of, you know, I'm not the kind of person that will walk up to a crowd of people and be able to just assert himself, or even a one-on-one person and just assert himself. I'm very self-conscious about basically everything. So what I would recommend is put yourself in the environment at TwitchCon you're most comfortable, which is convenient because it's so eclectic and it's so well-rounded. You're going to find something that you want to do. So while you're there, you're in your element, you're in your most natural habitat, so to speak. Other people are too, like that. So you have an instant icebreaker, as opposed to going to a party or going to a bar. You may not know if you have anything in common besides drinking, but if you go to Twitch and you love video games, go wait in that line for that game that looks really cool and be like, hey, have you played any other games that have come out in this game series? Or go into a panel and say like, so this struck me as really interesting as you're walking out with somebody, like stuff like that. Like even last year, I walked up to the panel speakers, and I asked questions afterwards because there was free Q&A at the end. And while I'm there, like I had questions and somebody else had questions, and I was like, I would act off their questions, and then me and them walked out talking. So it's just finding your safe place. Now, for me and for Devin as well, we also like liquid courage, and we do like to drink. So that helped. So there's no, last year there was no shortage of alcohol, even, you know, so whatever you want to do to be comfortable, like that helped me out for sure. But at the very least, just I had so much G Fuel that I'm pretty sure my body is like, what are you doing to me? But yeah, just put yourself in a comfortable place, make yourself feel at home, and then realize that there's other people right around you probably feeling the exact same thing.
Yeah, I know Velok had some cool thoughts about this last year, like just like that. So Vel, do you have any follow-up tips that we haven't covered yet? Yeah,
I mean, so you have to remember everyone is in the same boat as you. We're all relatively socially awkward in some aspect. That's why we're on Twitch, because, you know, we're not the most social person in IRL, so we go online and meet cool people that way. So I was super I was super scared. I've never, like, before TwitchCon, I didn't really care too much about like trying to go out and meet new people, because I don't know, I didn't have a good life in high school or anything, you know, and so I was like, it kind of like removed me from being social. And so for TwitchCon, I was like, I need to meet people. I need to make sure this is worth it. I need to talk to people. Like, it's scary, and like I was trembling the first few times I went up to people. But you just got to do it. You got to realize that like you're not doing this just for fun. You're doing this because like you want to make a job out of this potentially. Like this could be a real thing, and you want to make sure you're representing yourself as best as you can, and you want to make sure that you're putting yourself out there, because that's what this is all about. You're not going to come back with really anything serious if you don't put yourself out there, and you have to realize that you're spending money to go to this thing, and make it worth it for sure. Yeah, it's gonna suck. It's really difficult to do at first, but you got to make it worth it.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna definitely be a little bit uncomfortable at first. But it does kind of get easier as you start doing it and get into the groove of it. And I feel like every single day, actually, like if you're going multiple days to a con, it's always harder at first, like in the beginning of the day, and then later on the day it gets very easy in my experience. So I don't know if you guys felt that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but partially because I was drinking.
Well, I mean, it counts.
That helps. That helps.
It definitely does help. Definitely does.
So Ash had a follow-up question to this. Ash it in the chat. Said, would you recommend being with a group to help with meeting new people, or do it alone? What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't want to overwhelm people with a bunch of new faces. Like, you don't want to walk up to one person, you got 6 people with you. Like, hey, we're us. Like, how are you doing today? No, that's not a good approach at all. Like, because they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to leave now because I feel really uncomfortable. Like, you want to, like, make it as personal as possible. Like, this is just you and me. What's going on? How are we doing? If there's another group of people, then by all means, mosh pit and just like collab like your 2 groups, but don't like force 100 people onto just a couple people. You know what I mean? Like, you're not trying to take over something. So try to go in there as like nonchalant as possible and just like connect with them one-on-one if you can. Like, it's the best way to do it. You're gonna get the best connection if you go one-on-one as opposed to one person trying to talk to a bunch of different people at once.
Yeah, I will say, like, if you're starting and like you're very nervous about it, like maybe that's a good way to get your feet wet, is going with like one or two other people and just sort of going together. That has helped me in the past for sure, but like you're ultimately gonna get the most value as a one-on-one connection in the end. So maybe like working towards that slowly is the best way to go there.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I want to circle to, we're kind of wrapping up the TwitchCon stuff a bit here. Let's talk about like when you're actually networking and you've gotten to the point where you're gonna promote your stream, or the concept of like an elevator pitch. If you guys don't know what that is, basically like telling someone about your stream in whatever, a minute or however long it is. Like, what are your tips for when the time comes to actually promote yourself to other people at the conference? Start with Dan on this one, maybe.
So I've always had a terrible elevator pitch. Like I'm not good at selling myself. I think my clumsiness probably sells me more than my professionalism. I just do my best to just be interested in the situation. Like if someone's like, so tell me about yourself, I'm like, I play video games. Here's what I'm playing right now. Here's what I'm looking forward to. What do you do? And then I just flip the script and I want to know more about them. So I think if you're asking about advice for other people to have an elevator pitch, yeah, definitely like think about who you are and what you are and like what your brand stands for and the games you like to play. Like you're streaming on Twitch, you know, so you play video games, right? You probably have a favorite color. You probably have a favorite genre. Just think of a couple things that you can just let them know about yourself. But at the end of the day, also know that they're not there like for you. They're there for themselves, at least if they're also a streamer. So don't flood them with all this information. They're gonna forget it anyway. Just show them you're a cool person with your persona. Mm-hmm. Show them like oh man, like that's like not to throw out Kiri again, but like I jived with her because of the game she said. I instantly was more interested in what she had to say the second she's like, I like Skyrim and Zelda. Oh, okay, my attention just rose by 50%. How are you doing today? And you know, so just give people relevant things to where they can identify you, because they already probably heard what you said 50 times.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in general, I think like focusing on the other person as much as you can is a great networking tip, because people love to talk about themselves. That's what I always heard.
Yep.
And Anna, what are your tips on this process? Because you're kind of on the other end of it too, where you're you know, working with a company, so you probably hear pitches or you have to give your own from the company side. What are your tips on that whole process?
I still gotta work on that. But it is you want to keep it simple. You don't want to overwhelm people, like you said. You want to just try to get to know them. Like turn the tables, like Dan said. Like, you know, if you're talking about yourself, it's not as, you know, it just feels weird until it's a natural conversation. But if you start out like, hey, I'm this person, I play this, and that's it, like no one's gonna really connect with you that way. You just have to start talking as regular people, not as streamers. Or, you know, if you are working with a business, then it's a little bit different. But I think that you do want to have something in your mind that you're going to come up with and you're able to tell people. And also, if you're giving away something, I feel like it's kind of easier to maybe give them something, and then you can start talking about like what you're giving them. Or like I have these little sticker, I don't know where they're not stickers, they're magnets, but they look kind of like stickers.
Mine are stickers. I'm in trouble.
Oh.
I didn't know about that. I missed that memo.
Do you want to share with the class what you learned?
I didn't know until Cass brought it up in chat, Miss Fatal Kisses, but apparently you can't have stickers because they're too much of defacing property for Twitch's liking. So if they catch your sticker adhered anywhere, you're fined. So if you do,
convention center's rules.
Yeah. So
not Twitch,
so it's just the San Jose Convention Center. That's actually good to know. So maybe next year it won't be the case.
Yes,
that's good to know. I didn't know that. But yeah. So what I impromptu thought about was keep a stash of them for when you go outside of the convention center at least, and maybe also like if you want to get snazzy, like just get some colored construction paper and slap the sticker onto it and like cut it out or something. It's just something to, because I already spent my money on my stickers. Those are my business cards. I was good to go. So work with what you can and maybe still have your cool idea of a sticker for outside of it, because you're not always going to be there. You know, you might have an awesome dinner date with a couple of other streamers. So
wow, that's crazy. Don't bring stickers, guys, I guess, if you don't want to get fined.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vel, circling back to the question we were touching on, when it comes time to share your stream and share more about yourself to someone who asks, or you just want to tell people, like, what are your tips in that process?
Man, it's difficult because it's kind of different every conversation. It depends on how much the person wants to talk about themselves. Depends on the conversation that you've already had. Because if it's not going well, like if you're trying to have a conversation with someone but it's really dull, be like, hey man, like I stream. I'm assuming you stream too. Ask them about their stream, and if it starts to die down a little bit after they talk about their stream a little bit, be like, yeah, I stream, mornings or whatever. Like just talk about like what you do, because like you're on, like everybody's on Twitch, so talk about like what you do, like the success that you've seen or whatever from doing certain things. Ask them how they've been, successful, or things that they've seen that they wish that they could change, things like that. Just talk to them about streaming and how to be a streamer. Ask them questions if they have any tips or advice or anything, just to get something rolling. And then if there starts to be a lull, be like, yeah, I mean, here's my business card. If you ever want to, pop by or whatever, you can always hop in. Can I get yours as well? Like, you never want to just give them your business card and be like, okay, bye, like F off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you always want to be like, can I have yours as well? Thanks, I appreciate that. I'll stop by sometime. Don't pitch your own stuff too much, because everybody knows that you're a streamer, and make that super quick. Like, as far as talking about your own stream, like talk about more not pro me kind of things, like kind of more just discussing things on Twitch in general.
Yep, I agree. I think like the best way for it to happen is for them to actually ask you about your stream. Like if you can make that happen, that like ends up being the best, because then you don't have to force it. It just kind of happens naturally, and they're already interested. So if you can get to that point, and maybe that happens by asking lots of questions, then great. I think in that case, like that's why it's important just to have something prepared, so you're not like caught off guard and I stream video games. Well, so does everyone else. Just as long as you have something confident and short prepared that you can sum up pretty quickly, I think that's worth preparing for the conference. So that's why I asked that question. For sure. Cool. All right, so I think we had a question somewhere in here. We had a few kind of random questions. Are we giving anything out at the con? Possibly, if you find us. I'm sure Anna probably is too. If Streamloots is...
Streamloots, come find me. I have lots of stuff. Surprise.
Lots of things. Yep, same here. Okay, so we got about 20 minutes left. I have one more thing I want to talk about, and then we'll get to For Your Utmost's non-TwitchCon question. So the last one is community meetups. And I'm guessing that most of you guys are probably doing some sort of community meetup, and I know like Anna's doing official meetups. But how do you kind of navigate that process? Like where do you meet? What do you meet? What do you do with your community? Because like it's all good to say you want to do a meetup, but then like actually planning it out and logistics, like what would you recommend to people who want to have a meetup but they're not sure how to do it? I'll kick this off to Vel first.
Okay, so I haven't actually planned anything yet. I do know that I have some community members that are going, but I think what I'll do is I'll create a little Discord group in my Discord channel and call it, like TwitchCon meetup or something. And then what we can do is we can discuss that we are going to meet up on a certain day at whatever time, but because we don't really know the location that well, we can more so like we can decide where it's going to be when we're actually there, and we can see like certain landmarks or anything like, oh, we'll be at this place on this time on this day, be there, that's what's happening. Or like, because you don't really know the layout of anything right now. It's going to be like, we're going to meet there at this time, be at TwitchCon. Like, that's not a good thing to do at all. So I think getting like a subtle plan going and a separate Discord chat with those people, and then just kind of figuring out the actual location when everybody's there and knows the layout.
Yeah, that's smart. I think that's what we did last year with True Stuff for sure. Somebody wanted to talk there. I didn't hear who it was. Dan, maybe? Thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
No,
I thought I heard somebody start talking. Maybe not.
Wasn't me.
All right.
Okay, Shaggy.
Well, Anna, have you done community meetups of your own? Because I know you're doing the scheduled Streamloots meetups, but have you done community meetups in the past?
Not really. Just because it's always really hard to keep up with everyone, and I don't have that big of a following yet. I feel like community meetups, if you want to meet up with a couple of your people from your community, like try to get everyone together, that's great, but not like an official, like, we're doing this specific Anna meetup, you know, like I haven't really done that before. I just like, hey, I have a few friends who are going, you know, let's go to Dave & Buster's and meet up on Thursday night or whatever, you know, but it's not as like official, I guess, until you get like a bigger following. I feel like just try to meet up with your friends and your people that you know are going to be there if you can, which is hard because everyone has, you know, they're focusing on themselves. They want to do this, they want to do everything. And so it's hard to get everyone on the same page, but yeah. I've had one person that I've met at, well, I haven't met, but I've been at the same convention 3 times, and they've been a viewer for like 3 years. And like, I haven't seen him at the convention because it was just so hard to like actually get them at the same place I was. Yeah, it was so weird. Yeah,
we had some of that issue last year with trying to meet like some of the sponsored streamers coming to our meetup. We just could not like get in contact with them and constantly missing each other. So that does happen for sure. Dan, are you doing a community meetup during this weekend, and like what are your plans there?
No, I mean, I kind of resonate with what Anatlus said. I don't think that I merit a meetup. I think of meetup like a group of like 10 or more, where it's like a communal thing. We all go out to eat or whatever. But like for those who are interested in learning about meetups and how to properly do them, there is a panel at TwitchCon 18 that you should probably watch. But no, I will probably attend the TRUgaming meetup, which I'm excited for. I'm part of a large cluster of peeps that we're staying at the same hotel, so that's almost like a meetup in itself, and I'm sure we'll go do something with maybe more people, and that can be a meetup. But as like a Dan the Dapper, Dan fan meetup, no. I know maybe 4 or 5 people that are, maybe not even that many, that are like community before anything else on Twitch. I'll happily meet them, but that's just a handshake, and maybe we can go out and grab something to eat, not a meetup per se, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just kind of curious, like what everyone's planning there, because I think a lot of people do some sort of meetup, even if just with friends, and even that can be sort of tricky to coordinate, like Anna said, because everyone's so busy doing their own thing during the con. So just having some sort of plan to do that, I think, is helpful going into there. And like Velok said, like looking at the con maybe the first day and finding good places to meet is a good strategy. That's what we did with the True Meetup last year. That worked really well. So definitely recommend that. And like Dan said, there may be a True Meetup / party thing, but I think Katie would kill me if I dropped details here. So let's just say you have to go into Discord if you want to learn more.
Am I in trouble?
No. Oh, did you share something in there?
No, nothing. I just wanted to make sure that was even publicized. Never mind. Okay.
Oh, well, it may be. Okay. Let's just say you have to go to Discord if you want to try and find more. I can't list sealed here, but yeah.
Go to Discord to find nothing at all.
Maybe
There's
nothing at all.
there.
You don't know. I can't promise anything. All right. Well, let's move on to finally, patiently, For Your Utmost has been waiting for his actual question to be answered here. So this is a non-TwitchCon question, just the preface here. They said, this might be a silly and petty topic suggestion, but what are everyone's thoughts on physical presentation when streaming? Like how one dresses, holds themselves, does it affect their stream, or does it even matter at all? It's not something that bothers me, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to discuss. So this is interesting. Do you guys give a lot of thought to like your physical presentation, your posture, your appearance on your stream? I'll kick this off with Dan first.
100%. Like whether or not you're like trying to look your best, or you're just trying to fit like a persona, or maybe that's not the right word, but an aesthetic. I definitely think that I at least go out of my way to try to like look like what people expect me to look like. Like this shaven face isn't what people expect, so but that's a different story. But yeah, I mean, my community loves to. They used to love to pick on me because I always wore white T-shirts, white V-necks. Like for the first year of streaming, it was always white V-necks. So the days I didn't, it was like that was the talk of the chat that day. And like now, I always wear board shorts. I don't like to wear pants. I hate pants, so I wear board shorts and like, or swim trunks, but they're not swim trunks. Don't get it twisted. But so it's you do things that your community expects, and then it becomes part of who you are and that kind of stuff. So it's now I have a more traffic-based merch. So I try to wear my own merch because it makes sense. People can see what the hell you're trying to sell and that kind of stuff. So definitely, I can't think of a single time when you just want to roll out of bed with hair disheveled and just say, I'm not going to shower, I'm just going to stream instead. Like, maybe that's your aesthetic. I don't know. But I would say it definitely doesn't hurt to try to clean yourself up and look like you want to stream and want to be there and that you take it seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Anna, you have thoughts on this one too?
Yeah, I mean, as a girl, I'm always like self-conscious about what I wear and stuff, so I don't like to show off too much. Like what I'm wearing today is probably the most like revealing I've worn in a while. Usually I'll just wear a t-shirt, but I'll still have my hair and my makeup done. You know, like I still at least be presentable. Like if I was going outside or if I'm going to go somewhere, I would pretty much dress up like I would for the stream. And maybe a little bit more goofy sometimes because I don't wear this outside, but you know, that's what streaming's so great. You don't have to be super serious, but you can still, it can be a part of your aesthetic, like Dan said. Yeah. I like it.
There's definitely like a balance there between like just naturalness, but also having some sort of polish and presentation of what you're doing. So like you can see, I think even backgrounds kind of factor into this. I'll just go full screen so people can see this. Like Anna's got a lot going on.
Oh God, I have a lot going on. I'm moving soon. It's gonna be better soon, I promise. But yeah, I do a lot of lighting and stuff. It's intriguing.
That's pretty undebatable, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But Vel,
like your
what
background.
are your well, thank you. Yeah, it's again, we just updated this because presentation matters to us. So I mean, that's just an example of that. But Vel, what's your take on this one? And it's interesting to talk about like, you know, background in addition to dress and how you, like, interestingly, Fear almost said how you hold yourself and carry yourself. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So yeah, I definitely like style my hair and make sure my beard doesn't look like crap every morning. I'm not gonna like roll out of bed and just like hair's like when I sleep, I wake up and it's in like a rhino horn going this way. So we got to fix that. And my beard is all like doing its own thing. Can't have that either. You got to make sure you're looking a little bit decent and professional because like you take this seriously, so look serious about it. With things going on behind me, this is just like a spare room that kind of threw some crap in, and then I was like, I'll put some stuff on the wall, and I need to like refine this a little bit. It's a small apartment. We don't have that much space, so it's finding extra room to put all this stuff in that we don't have. But you definitely want to make sure that you're looking as professional as possible. If you take it seriously, make it look like you're taking it seriously for sure. It's a big deal.
I think it's hard to argue like if you are a camera streamer, it matters to some extent. And some people have very simple cameras where, you know, it's just themselves on screen, but there's probably put some effort into making it look a certain way, whether it's like the angle of the camera or what they're wearing or, you know, whether or not they got a shower, whatever. Like, I think everyone considers this to some extent. And so, like, you know, Fear Utmost said it doesn't bother him at all. Like, maybe it doesn't bother you as a viewer, but I think that most streamers will almost always think about it to a little bit if they use a camera. If you don't use a camera, that's a benefit that you don't have to worry about. You can just do whatever and stream in your underwear if you want and just go live, and it's the same thing. So, but it's a cool question, so I appreciate you bringing that up, Fear Utmost.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got 10-ish minutes left. I'm not seeing any other questions or anything, so this is probably a good time to kind of wrap up with like any last thoughts for TwitchCon that you guys have. Anything, you know, I always ask the question on the show, like if you give one piece of advice to someone who's a brand new streamer, let's kind of switch that around and say, so like giving one piece of advice to someone going to TwitchCon this year who's never gone to TwitchCon, maybe any con, like what would you say to people to make sure they get the most out of the con? I'll kick this off to Velok first.
Okay. So if you see a partnered streamer or any streamer that you really, really like or enjoy, doesn't matter how large they are, approach them and, you know, just try to talk to them like a regular person. I saw a partner streamer named Shadow Fox, and she was just over there with her and just her friend. I talked about this a couple of times, but I was really nervous when I went up and talked to her. I was like, "Hey, I follow you." She's like, "Cool." So do a bunch of people. I'm like, "Thanks." That's not really how it happened. She was super nice about it, but you know, in her head, she's like, "Yeah, like everybody follows me. I'm partnered." Like, but so I went up to her and talked to her just for a little bit and connected with her, and was able to follow her on social media, and she followed me back, which was cool. And then we kind of kept a connection going. And then she ended up doing this thing where she started up her own stream coaching business. And because I had made that connection with her and we had been talking already, I was allowed to be one of the in the beta program for it. And so I got in on this cool thing that I never would have gotten into because I just went up and talked to a partner streamer. And it was really cool. And now I can say I have a connection with that streamer. Like she supports me on Twitch and vice versa. And she wants to see my channel grow and help me out as much as possible. And it's cool. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would not be where I am on Twitch.
Just like having the nerve to go talk to someone who might be daunting, but it's really going to pay off in the end, basically.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what someone is working on or going to be working on. You never know what that person could be going through in the future. So just approach anybody you think you want to, whether they're a bigger streamer or not.
Nice. I think that's great advice. So definitely write that one down, guys. Let's go to Anna next. What's your big tip for people who are going for the first time, or just your biggest tip for anyone going at all?
I would say, I mean, I loved what he said about just trying to talk to everyone that you can. But if you're like more shy about that, then at least like go to the panels. Like their panels are so informative. If you need to learn or brush up on a certain subject, you'll learn so much from it. So I would recommend going to the panels and then trying to talk to people at those panels, because they're there for the same reason you are, probably. So maybe you'd be able to make that connection a little bit better with those types of people rather than just on the expo floor. So I would say maybe try and do that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it goes back to what Dan did, you know, going up to people and talking to them after panels too. That's a cool way to kind of, excuse me, kind of cool to blend those two together and meet people in the panels who have a lot of kind of special knowledge, for sure. Dan the man, what's your advice for someone going to this conference? Biggest piece.
So if you're going to this conference, you've put a lot of money into it. You put a lot of planning, a lot of time. So you probably have a plan as to what you're doing. You probably have a schedule like me, maybe even synced into your phone like a nerd. Don't treat TwitchCon like a GPS. If you have to miss something because an opportunity arises you didn't know about until attending the con, do it. Seize an opportunity if you see it. Everything you've done and experienced up to this point is the reason you're there, but now you're there. So, you know, if you have the opportunity to sit down with some brand new people and you think that it's really going to be beneficial to you, or you know, maybe I don't know, maybe you shook hands with a partner that you really idolize, and maybe they even were willing to humor you and say, hey, what are you doing later, or whatever. Don't feel like the conference should be 100% by the book how you expected it, because I can tell you, even last year, having no expectation of what it was going to be, it still wasn't for me. It was still a lot of curveballs and a lot of excitement, which is why I love it so much and why I'm going back. So go in ready, but while you're there, keep an open mind. It's completely up to you how you spend your time there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That, like, you know, we spent this whole episode talking about things to do at TwitchCon and how to make the most of it, but like at the end of the day, it's sort of what you make of it. And like you can find your own way to get the most out of it. You don't have to follow the things that we say here explicitly. It's just recommendations of how we found the most success from it. But you know, finding your own thing that you want to do at TwitchCon and whatever it means to get your money's worth, in your opinion, that's what you should do. I like that a lot. Cool. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up the show, guys. So thank you for everyone who's been watching. Let's go around and just do final sign-off thoughts. Start with Anna, since you've not been on here very often. Where can people find you?
What do I say? Okay.
Yeah, where can people find you? Where, you know, anything you want to say to people before we head off here at all?
I'm Anatlus89 on all the social medias, pretty much Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, anywhere you can find me. I focus on a lot of variety games. I'm going to be doing more creative stuff when I move, and also cooking streams. And I'm really looking forward to meeting anyone who's going to TwitchCon. So if you see me, I mean, you hopefully won't miss me because of my hair. I have a lot of Streamloot stuff which is a really cool platform that I work for that helps streamers make money. So if you want to find me, I have some swag from them as well. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Excited to meet you there. Because we've actually not met yet, so that'd be cool.
No, we have not.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Dan the Man, where can people find you? What do you want to say to them before we head off?
Dan the Dapper or Dan the Dapper TV, depending on the platform. If you're really that curious, you can go into my stream and I'll tell you the socials there. But I play so much variety, I can't tell you more than I love Kingdom Hearts, Zelda, and Dark Souls. So if any of those games jive with you, then you probably jive with me. So high five. And I'm just looking forward to the future with TRUgaming and going to TwitchCon and the wonderful people that support me day in and day out, even though I'm just this pleb boy. So thank you guys.
Go drive with Dan, guys. You will not be disappointed. By the way, guys, are you streaming today at all, Anna and Dan?
I am. I'm playing Soul Calibur 6.
Nice. What time?
I'll be streaming at 8 p.m. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Forgot to.
You're good.
What time are you streaming, Dan?
Oh, I'm sorry. Like the second this is done.
Okay.
Everyone go see him.
All right.
I have to go to work the second this is done, so.
Okay. What time are you streaming, though, Anna?
8 p.m. Central.
Okay. Awesome
Star
stuff.
Trek Online.
Ooh.
Should be fun. Yeah.
Nice. Veli, you know the drill. What do you want to say before we get off here?
Oh man, I've never done this. So I am Velok_TV, VELOKK_TV, as you see right there on all platforms, everywhere. Go check it out. Snapchat, check, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously on Twitch. But yeah, I stream a lot of Fortnite and some single player games on PlayStation. And you can catch me 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday.
Well, that is Stream Keys. Thank you for watching. We do this every single Friday, but not next Friday because we'll be at TwitchCon. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Oh,
darn.
But yeah, 3 episodes a week at night, in the afternoon, whenever. You can catch it all. It's all on podcast platforms like iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Just search Stream Key or Twitch and you can find us probably. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stick around because I think we'll just go ahead and raid Dan since he's about to stream, and you can go see him actually in action. So yeah, with that said, guys,
The pressure.
we will see you later.
Thanks, guys.
And
See you at
hope you have a
TwitchCon.
good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
I gotta get going. My phone is
Yep,
blowing
I
up.
gotta go change and get ready for work. Bye,
I will
guys.
see you guys later.
Bye.